What's going on, guys? Recon here and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the iPhone SE2 in 2024. We'll be seeing if it's worth it buying in 2024, especially with the Apple event being around the corner. We're probably, by the time we release this video, it's actually gonna be already out. We're gonna be having new iPhones. We're gonna be having probably another SE, who knows, but I'll answer the question if it's worth getting the iPhone SE2 in 2024. So let's get with the review. So guys, I have the iPhone SE2 here. It did came out in 2020. I did get it in the red colorway. It's the only color I ever got in it. But there are a lot of gripes about this phone that I do have. But there are also some good things about this phone, like having a small compact phone. It won't really disturb your pockets compared if you like get a bigger phone. It does have a 4.7 screen Retina HD display, so it is a compact phone. It does have 1334 by 750 pixels, and it does have a small battery, but that's the problem right there for me. That's my biggest gripe about this phone, being the battery. The battery on this phone is really poor. I do wish Apple does fix it on the new SE. Hopefully they already released it by the time I release this video. I'm pretty sure the Apple event should have already happened. But if they haven't released an SE, I really do hope that on the next gen of the SE, being the SE4, they do fix the battery life, because this phone won't last you the whole day at all, no matter what type of use you give it. If you give it heavy use, of course, it's not gonna last the whole day. If you give it medium use, it's not gonna last the whole day. Even with just light use, it won't last you the whole day. This phone's battery is really poor, but it is kind of understandable due to the size. But again, you could get like an iPhone 12 mini or an iPhone 13 mini. They will still have better battery life than this one, and it's around the same size if I'm not mistaken. Just the screen to body ratio is gonna be different. You're not gonna have these chunky bezels. You're gonna have all even out bezels, but the battery life on those ones are still better than this one. And even though those ones have even better processors, which I'm pretty sure will consume a little bit more battery life, but this phone does come with the A13 Bionic chip, which we saw it on the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max. The A13 is actually a pretty good chip, but it doesn't really help the case here when it's put inside such a compact phone. So of course it's gonna consume a lot of battery life. But besides all of that, this phone is really recommendable to a few types of people. I cannot recommend this phone to, like, if someone came to me and tell me, hey, what phone could I buy with less than $200, I definitely won't be recommending this phone. But the only case scenario I could recommend this phone is for someone who needs an iPhone and doesn't want to spend that much money. They probably need an iPhone because of work or because of their friends having iOS. We know the green and the blue bubble battle on Team Android, but regardless of that, I can only recommend this phone to those type of people, or someone who's old that is just used to the iPhone 8, iPhone 7 body, iPhone 6 having the home button. Besides that, I really cannot recommend it to anyone else. Or possibly to someone who's just looking to have a second phone, who have probably an Android guy like me who needs an iPhone, but I'm not keeping this iPhone. I am a two phone guy, but right now I don't have an iPhone on my pocket. I have a different phone, which I'm pretty sure y'all already know, because this video is probably gonna come out, of course, after my full review of the Moto G 2024 full review. This is my second phone right now in the pocket. This one really is a problem for me. I can't have it in the pocket because it won't last me whatsoever. I've tried using this one as a second phone, and even yet, using my S23 Ultra as my main phone and just having this for like work phone, or I don't know, who knows the case scenario I might use it. It still doesn't last me the whole day whatsoever, which is my problem with this phone. Like I said, this phone isn't really recommendable to most people, but even as a second phone, it really it still isn't recommendable. And I'm not trying to hate on Apple whatsoever, but it's just the battery life. The battery life is my problem. If they fix the battery life, this phone would be recommendable in my opinion, even though it does have a small screen. And like I said, in 2024, there's a lot of other competitors out there, like Motorola. You got OnePlus, you have Nothing, you have Google, and honestly, For $100 to 150, you could save a little bit more, and for less than $200, you can get the Motorola G5G 2024. And here's the difference: this one is 60 hertz, this one is 120 hertz, and I know people are like, the Android, the Android, the Android, but honestly, I prefer having a better experience, having a better experience. And to me, 60 hertz isn't it? We're in 2024. Like, even with the newer iPhones, the iPhone 15, the 15 regular, or matter of fact, the 16 and the regular 16 plus, they don't have 120 hertz like the Pro phones. Which I don't know why Apple does it. If Motorola can do it on a cheaper phone, why can't Apple do it? I don't know. I just don't understand that. But I'm not trying to hate on Apple. They're probably doing it for a reason. But going back to this phone, 60 hertz, poor battery life, those are two major factors for me that make this not a recommendable phone. Now, guys, moving on to a topic that some of y'all might be asking, yo, Recon, what about the cameras? How are the cameras? How's the camera experience? Um, I will say that the cameras are just overall okay. I don't expect nothing less. I didn't expect nothing less due to it being an SE, and I'd expect anything more. It's just right there in the middle. It sits in between. It does have a 12 megapixel sensor with an f1.8 aperture, and the front facing camera has a 7 megapixel with an f2.2 aperture. So what that means is just decent specs. It's just for 2024 they're not it, and even yet in 2020 they're not really it. It's just Apple really does only do 12 megapixels when it comes to the SE. I don't know if they're gonna up it up a little bit more. Probably we'll be able to see 48 megapixel with the new SE4. Who knows? But it's still not. It's just decent specs. If you want to do point and shoot, you can definitely do that. Hold on, let me take the live off. You can definitely do that point and shoot. You see, and you're gonna have decent quality. You're really just gonna have decent quality. It's not nothing much. It's a 12 megapixel sensor. Definitely don't expect much from it, but for point and shoot, it's okay. Um, and this is where I come back to the Android side. With the competitors it has right now in 2024, you can get a Moto G 5G 2024 with two camera sensors, 50 megapixel main, and you have a macro lens. But this is where iPhone on the budget side always beats the budget Androids is on the quality of the cameras. But the one thing I will say is that they do come with the pro mode, something iPhone doesn't have. Look, it has no pro mode whatsoever. You can tweak the ISO, shutter speed, you can tweak the white balance, all of these stuff. You can tweak it and make the picture better quality. But it still doesn't change the fact that the cameras are going to be that good compared to the iPhone's one. But we all know that iPhone cameras are just okay, and they definitely do beat the budget ones if you're talking about a budget phone. But besides that, the cameras are just overall okay. Now, guys, moving on to the build quality of this phone, one thing I will say about the iPhone SE is that besides it being compact, I'm really confident that I won't be dropping this phone whatsoever, having it in the head naked like this. And that's mostly due to one, the build quality of it, which is having an aluminum frame all around it. But the one thing I will say, if you drop this phone, it's gonna get scuffed pretty easily because of the aluminum frame, and it's gonna be really noticeable. But if you don't care about that, you can just put on a screen protector and put on a case, and you're good to go. But if you're going to be carrying it naked like this, it can definitely get scuffed easily, get scratches, but it's nothing really major. And also the second reason is because it is a small phone, and one thing I will say is that I'm actually pretty glad that this one is IP67 water and dust resistant, but it's not a risk I'm willing to take. A risk that I'm like, let me try it. But one thing I will say about the build quality of this one is that the one thing I've always hated about Apple is how they use the glass back. It's just a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. I don't know if it's visible on the camera. I'm pretty sure you can see it, but it does attract a lot of fingerprints. And again, here's where I come back to the competitors on the Android side. Look at this vegan leather. It has a pretty decent grip on it. The frame if I compare both of the frames, I prefer the frame here. But if I could have the frame of the SE and the back of the Motorola G 2024, that would be probably the best build quality on a budget phone. It does have vegan leather. Well, it's not really, it's fake leather to be honest, but it does help with that grip of not dropping the phone. But if you compare it back to the iPhone SE, I am confident that I won't be dropping it. But the one thing that is just like, I don't know, it's just an ick for me, and ick is that I have it on the hand, and I can definitely feel the backlash and how it just has a lot of smudges on it, and you're gonna be cleaning it. You don't want to, be walking around with a phone with just a lot of fingerprints. It's probably gonna disgust a lot of people. But besides that, overall, this phone is just okay. It's just okay. For a second phone on the hand, if you want to have two phones, it's okay. Like I said, won't last you the whole day, and this one is really recommendable only for three types of people: an old guy that just wants an iPhone but wants the old build quality of it, the home button and everything. Two, if you really need an iPhone, like let's say quote unquote me, I'm an Android guy, but I have friends that are just on the Apple side, and maybe they just don't want to talk to me through messages because I got the green bubbles. We all know the green and the blue bubbles. So maybe those type of people would be getting an iPhone just to text on the group chats and stuff like that, to have the blue bubble so you didn't get destroyed on the group chats. Or maybe it's just someone that really needs a second phone, but they don't want to spend too much money. Someone who is on the market to get an iPhone but doesn't want to spend too much money, especially right now in 2024. This iPhone, you can get it between $100 to $150. But besides those 3-4 type of people, I don't recommend it to anyone else. If you come to me and you tell me, hey, what phone do you recommend me to buy right now that's less than $200, I'm not recommending this phone whatsoever. But overall, this one is just overall okay. If Apple fixes the battery life, you know what, just fixing the battery life, besides the screen to aspect ratio, and the cameras, besides those two, the only thing Apple needs to fix for this to start being a recommendable phone is the battery life it has. But besides that, as soon as they fix it, this phone is extremely recommendable. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys really enjoy me giving more phone reviews, and I do hope you guys do subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and please give a like this video and turn on those post notifications and share it with people. But besides that, this is me. This has been it for me, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace.